cyclone warning is current for coastal areas from Cowan to Innisfail, including Cooktown, Port Douglas and Cairns, and extending inland to areas including Kalinga, Palmerville, Mareeba and Chiligo. A cyclone watch is current for coastal areas from Innisfail to Cardwell, extending to adjacent inland areas. At 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, severe tropical cyclone Ita was a Category 4 and was estimated to be 115 kilometres north-northeast of Cooktown and 270 kilometres north of Cairns and moving south-southwest at 13 kilometres per hour. Severe tropical cyclone Ita, Category 4, poses a serious threat to communities along the far north Queensland coast. It is expected to continue to move in a general south-southwest direction and make landfall near Cape Flattery tonight, with very destructive winds to 275 kilometres per hour near the core and gales extending out to 185 kilometres from the centre. Destructive winds with wind gusts in excess of 125 kilometres per hour are currently occurring at Cape Flattery and should develop elsewhere between Cape Melville and Cooktown this evening, extending south to Cape Tribulation overnight and possibly to Port Douglas during Saturday morning. Gales are occurring between Cape Melville and Cooktown and should extend south to Cape Tribulation this evening and inland to Laura and Palmerville overnight. Gales may extend south to Cairns and Innisfail and inland to Chiliago during Saturday and possibly to Cardwell later in the evening. There remains the small possibility that Ida could track south close to the coast tonight and maintain an intensity capable of generating destructive wind gusts to 150 kilometres per hour in Cairns during Saturday. Coastal residents between Cape Melville and Cape Tribulation, including Cooktown, are specifically warned of the dangerous storm tide as the cyclone crosses the coast tonight. The sea is likely to rise steadily up to a level which will be significantly above the normal tide, with damaging waves, strong currents, and flooding of low-lying areas extending some way inland. People living in these areas likely to be affected by this flooding should take measures to protect their property as much as possible and be prepared to follow instructions regarding evacuation of the area if advised to do so by authorities. Very heavy rain, which may lead to flash flooding, is developing about parts of the peninsula and north tropical coast and tablelands districts and should gradually contract southwards with the system over the weekend. People in the path of the very dangerous cyclone between Cape Melville and Cooktown should stay calm and remain in a secure shelter above the expected water level while the very destructive winds develop into tonight. Do not venture outside if you find yourself in the eye of the cyclone. Very destructive winds from a different direction could resume at any time. Follow the evacuation advice or directions of police, emergency service personnel, and local authorities. People elsewhere between Cowan and Innisfail and adjacent inland areas including Laura, Kalinga, Palmerville, Mareeba, and Chiliago should complete preparations quickly and be prepared to shelter in a safe place. Boats and outside property should be secured using available daylight hours. For cyclone preparedness and safety advice, visit Queensland's Disaster Management Services website www.disaster.queensland.gov.au. For emergency assistance, call the Queensland State Emergency Service, the SES, on 132 500. That's 132 500. For assistance with storm damage, rising floodwater, fallen trees on buildings or roof damage. Follow the evacuation advice or directions of police, emergency services, personnel, and local authorities. Good evening, folks, and welcome to another Townsville Stormwatch and surrounding district cyclone update here on the 11th of April 2014. My name is Nathan Donnelly, and well, tonight it is a very eerie night. It's the calm before the storm for residents from the Cape Melville through to the Cooktown area. And what you're seeing here right now is where Cyclone Ita is at present. It is just north or northwest of Lizard Island, heading in a south to southwesterly direction. Now, you may be mistaken for believing that this system could be hitting Cape Flattery, but please remember that with tropical cyclones is that they do wobble 10 to 20 kilometers of a straight line. They never seem to go directly in a straight line. So anywhere from Cape Flattery down through to the Cooktown or the Mossman area should be very, very aware of this system. They should be receiving regular updates from the Bureau of Meteorology by going on to www.bom.gov.au because it's not long until Cyclone Ita either grazes the coast very closely or actually makes land. And folks, this is what the monster looks like at the moment. Uh, as you can see, we've got these darker colors coming into the last kind of frames, showing that the cloud tops are very, very, very cold in these frames, showing that the storm is high up into the atmosphere and it's just surging towards the Queensland coast. You can see just in this last few couple of frames a well-defined eye of the system, and it's all bars, all holds bars off. I think that's the right sort of saying there, but all is to say that this system is well on its way to the Queensland coast. So the $1,000,000 question right now is, where is severe tropical cyclone Ita expected to go from here? Well, at 6 p.m. tonight, we can see that Cyclone Ita is a Category 4 system and sitting just to the north of the Cape Flattery area. By 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, the system is expected to have made landfall and be sitting as a Category 3 system here just to the southwest of Cooktown. Then by 6 p.m. tomorrow night, that's 6 p.m. Saturday night, it is expected to have de-intensified into a Category 1 system and be sitting here just west of Mariba. Then by 6 a.m. Sunday morning, it is expected to be a low pressure system and sitting just to the west of Cardwell. And then by 6 p.m. Sunday night, it is expected to be a low pressure system once again and be sitting around in the Ayr region just south of Townsville there. So it is quite a rapid moving system once it does make landfall, and it's going to be dumping quite a lot of rain. So that was the Bureau of Meteorology's forecast track map for the system. If we have a look now at the Joint Typhoon Warning Centre's forecast track map, and what we can see is that there is a fairly similarity in the track map of this system as it heads in here around the Cooktown sort of area, then comes inland and then passes through Cairns and exits between the Cairns and Townsville coastline, and then heads in this southeasterly direction out to the ocean. Now, the thing about this this forecast map is the wind intensities that they are suggesting might be associated with this system at these points. Very unlikely that they're going to be as strong as what they are saying this system is going to be at this point, considering it has travelled over about 300 kilometres of land to get to this point. And as we all know, cyclones do not like land, and so de-intensify quite quickly. Also, this area here is also very mountainous as well, so that would also be inhibiting the cyclone's strength as it does this little track inland before heading off the coast once again. We have a now look at the satellite imagery courtesy of the Bureau of Meteorology, and what we can see here is that Ita, that big swirling massive convective clouds just swirling there just off the coast of Queensland, and very evident that there is the eye of the system just off the coast there in that last frame. So very, very close to the coast indeed. If we now have a look at what where the models are saying that this system could go from here. Now, this thick red line here, that is the deterministic track of the models. So that is where I guess a lot of the models are suggesting that the system will definitely go. Whereas this green one is the mean of all the ensemble tracks. So that's where a lot of them say the system will head. And as you can see here on this graph, that a lot of the models are saying that it will make landfall here around that Cooktown area, as we did suggest. But we also, and this is worthy to note, we also still have quite a few of the models saying that this system may not even make landfall at all. They're keeping it off the coast of Queensland, and if that is the case, then this system is all systems go to continue as quite a significant tropical cyclone, perhaps not a category 4 or 5 as it has been, but still it will be quite a significant system as it heads down into the Herbert and Lower Burdekin coastline. Some models are also trying to predict that this system is going to go towards the Northern Territory Queensland border. That seems quite highly unlikely, but that's what some of the models are saying, so we need to show it to you guys. Whereas some of the other models are saying that it's going to die right here, pretty much in the middle of the peninsula type region. If we now have a look at the microwave imagery of this system, and what we can see is pretty much that Cyclone Ita eye is sitting in this area here. You can see very small hints of red out here in one of the feeder bands, and these red areas are very, very important because these areas are where a possible tornado could possibly spin up in these areas. It's not definite, but they are possible. So there's a red spot here, well off the coast of Queensland, but it's still there. Very faint hints here to the northern part of the system, and also certainly within the eye of the system as well. So a couple of spots there to be mindful of, but as I said, at the moment they are well offshore. So now we have a look at the Euro's model projection for this system, and here we are, 6 o'clock Friday morning, and the Euro has this system just off the coast here, just south of the Cape Melville area, and heading straight there for Cooktown. Let's see what happens, and this is very interesting, but let's see what happens over the next few hours according to the European models. Now, the European model is saying that at 12 o'clock Friday afternoon, that's today, this system should have made landfall just between Cooktown and Cape Melville. Now, as we know, that hasn't quite happened. So, but this is still a model that is considered to be highly reliable when it comes to cyclones. But just at this point, I think it may have just got it a little bit wrong. But let's see what happens anyway over the next few hours. Let's go through now to Saturday morning. And Saturday morning, what we can see is that the system lies inland here to the southwest of Cooktown. It's still got quite a tight circulation around it, but by this stage I would suggest a category 2 or 1. And now if we go forward through until Sunday morning, and we can see that the system continues to adopt this south to southeasterly direction. And here we are at 3 o'clock Sunday morning, and we can see that the system has broadened a little bit. The center of it's broadened a little bit as it lies in between Ingham and Townsville. Now, if we continue to track this system through until Monday morning, and we can see that the system just continues to just hold on to the coast there a little bit before it exits there around the Bowen area, and then tracks in that southeasterly direction away from the coast. So that's the Euro's prediction of this system, and as we did say to you before, perhaps not quite the most accurate prediction, as it has made landfall according to this model. But let's have a look at what this model says about the precipitation. And here we are at 3 o'clock today, Friday the 11th of April, and we can see that because the Euro have forecasted that this system has already made landfall, that a lot of its moisture associated with it has also come onto the shoreline as well, and it extends right down through to around about the Ingham sort of area. So anywhere north of about Ingham would be expecting some rain from this system, according to the Euro, at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Let's now follow it through to Saturday morning. And we can see here that as the system adopts that south to southeasterly type track, that a lot of the precipitation from it is here on its north to northwest quadrant of it, with also that, I guess, feeder band you could call it, is now extending down into about north of Rolling Stone. Then now if we have a look through until Sunday morning, we can see that as the system continues to move in that south to southeasterly direction, that it's taking all its moisture with it. And by about 3 o'clock Sunday morning, the heaviest rain from this system would be located over the Townsville area, extending right down through to just south of Bowen and extending upwards to about the Ingham type area. Also, there's a lot of the moisture being pushed offshore as well from this system by 3 o'clock on Sunday. Then going through till Monday morning at about the same time, and we can see that again, just as this system continues to make its way down the coast, it's just bringing all of its moisture with it, and by 6 o'clock Monday morning, we can see that most of the precipitation is off the Rockhampton Gladstone coastline, and the area to its north where the system came from is now just experiencing some very, very isolated and very, very light showers. Now, the GFS hasn't done much better with its forecasting of this system either. Here the GFS is showing that this system is just north of Cooktown, and this was at 6 o'clock this morning. If we now progress throughout the day, we can see that the GFS brings this system down pretty much in a southerly track or a southwesterly track quite sharply. And here at midnight tonight, that's Friday night, the system has already made landfall just between Cooktown and Cape Melville, and it's just headed inland, and by this time is a fairly weak system by midnight Saturday. Then the GFS likes to have this system continue in a southeasterly track until here on Sunday at midnight. The system is located over the Townsville area and perhaps even starting to already try and re-intensify by the time it does get to Townsville on midnight on Saturday night. Then if we go through till Monday, and what we can see is that the system just stays right on the coast there till it gets to south of Bowen, and in between Bowen and Mackay is where it pushes itself off into that southeasterly direction and looks as if it could re-intensify as it does so, as it hits those warm waters again off the coast, but it is at this stage moving away from the Queensland coast. So what does this look like in terms of precipitation? Well, at 9 o'clock Friday morning, the GFS was predicting that there will be quite a lot of this system's moisture hitting the coast here, again between, say, Cooktown and Cape Melville, but still its strongest rainfalls remain just off the coast. Then if we follow this through to Friday afternoon, or Friday night at 6 o'clock, and what we can see is that a large portion of this system's moisture now lies from Cairns right up to north of Cooktown and also inland quite a bit as well. But it's also saying that heavy falls could also be felt from the Innisfail area right through up until just south there of Cape Melville. Then if we look through to Saturday morning, when the GFS says that this system should have made landfall by this time, and we can see that now just around the Rolling Stone area, north through to about the Cairns area is now meant to be experiencing quite heavy rainfall, especially being focused here on around the Innisfail sort of area, Innisfail Tully type region, and also inland a little bit as well. Then if we go through to Sunday morning, and what happens Sunday morning is that by 3 o'clock Sunday morning, this system has now tracked past the Townsville area, dropping a lot of moisture as it does so, and the heaviest falls are now expected around in the Bowen area, but anywhere from about, I'd say, Serena up into the Air region could be expecting some quite decent falls at about Monday morning, about 3 o'clock. Let's continue now through to Monday morning, and we can see that by Monday morning, or should we say Sunday midnight, we can see that a lot of the moisture has now left the Queensland coastline, just a little bit here just to the north of Rockhampton, but most of it has now left the coastline, and that's the last that we'll see of the season or of the system for the time. If we look now at what the Bureau of Meteorology is saying in terms of rainfall, forecasted rainfall, and here on Saturday we can see that the heaviest falls are between just south of Cooktown through to about the Tully area, but anywhere from around about Ayr through to about the Cape Melville area could be expecting some heavier falls on Saturday. If we now look into Sunday, and we can see that the heavier falls are now just north here of Rockhampton, but really anywhere from about Gladstone through to about the Ingham area could be expecting some moderate to heavy falls on Sunday. Now if we look onto Monday, and well, what we can see is that most of the rainfall has now either gone offshore or is lying here from the Bowen area down through to about Gladstone. Could see some moderate to heavy falls, but as I said, most of the falls have now gone offshore. And then on Tuesday, we can see that pretty much the precipitation has left the Queensland coastline. There's still just some 10 plus mils happening here in the far northern peninsula area, also around the Cowan area and in the Mackay region as well. Could be expecting 10 plus mils, but nothing like what it would have experienced over the weekend. So, folks, we can see here on this earth.com.au imagery here. Here's the centre of Cyclone Ita, just off the coast here, off the Queensland coast. The winds are really starting to wrap around this system. They're really impacting the Queensland coastline at the moment. Storm surge is an absolute total threat at this time. So anyone that is in the low-lying areas, sort of north of Cairns, up into the Cooktown kind of area, anyone that's in low-lying areas there should have already moved out of those low-lying areas, because the storm tide is going to be huge for this system, given that it's a Category 4 and could very easily come back to a Category 5 system, but at the moment it is a Category 4 system. And so, guys, that's all we've got time for tonight. So thank you for watching. Our next cyclone video update will be tomorrow evening. So please stay tuned to TSW and SD for that update. If you are looking for more regular and professional or more authoritative updates on this system, please do go to www.bom.gov.au. If you are in the Cooktown area and south, please do take it easy out there. Stay safe, and as the saying goes, if it's flooded, forget it. Definitely rings very, very true for this system. And stay safe and make sure that you do pay heed to what the authorities are asking you to do, because they are there for your safety and they want to keep you safe throughout this system. So thanks for watching, and if you'd like to support the work that we do for you, please do take the time to show your appreciation by clicking on our PayPal tab under our cover photo on our Facebook page, Townsville Stormwatch and Surrounding Districts Facebook page. Thank you, and as I said, stay safe and good night.